opportunity to partner with some other organizations. There are organizations, as you know, that collect coats, warm coats for children mostly and adults in the wintertime. To partner with those kinds of people?
I'm open to any opportunity to help others, and that would be one avenue. Another avenue, we discussed off the air, and is we created our shirts. We show the shirt. Is that okay?
Oh, the shirts,
yeah.
Of course. Is this a money raiser?
This is something we raised. We did this for all our volunteers, so people would know, get an idea of who we are. And you show the back of it.
Show the back of it.
It has our logo on it, and Fiorenza's Food for Friends, F4, the name of our program. And what we're going to do in the future is we're working on branding shorts, T-shirts, sweatpants, hats, and putting them on our website. So if anyone wants to get involved, help out the cause, they could buy the merchandise, and then $1 or $2 will go in proceeds for the nonprofit. I'm also hoping to partner with the breast cancer. So anything pink, they'll get a portion of, and AIDS, so red, they can get a portion of it, and those wristbands, Live Strong, give for cancer. So I think there's lots of opportunities. That's one avenue I'm thinking.
Yes.
I wasn't thinking of the coats, but I'm open to that as well. If other people have suggestions and they want to get involved, the main goal here is to help others, and that's what we're truly in the business of serving others. So that's an excellent way to do it. We'll do it.
It was conceived and continues to be operated as non-sectarian. You're not tied in with any religious group, any faith-based group of any kind.
And that's not to say that I don't have faith, because I do. I have tremendous faith. People say, was this your mission? I say, no, this was God's mission. But in the era that we're in and being politically correct, I just focus on goodwill and helping others. And I think that that's able to, I don't want to alienate anyone, because everyone's help is welcomed, appreciated, and needed. And whether you are agnostic, atheist, believer, Catholic, doesn't matter, Jewish, doesn't matter. You know, we're all in this together. We're all in this world together. We're all here to try to make a difference in someone's life.
I don't know how you're going to do it all. You do this, you work full-time as Vice President of Marketing in your father's benefits business, which I hope is thriving. You are an athlete, and you hope to continue and pursue that as well as a punter, kicker, with a, I hope, a recognized football team, if not locally, someplace else. So you've got your professional career, you've got your avocation, that is athletics, you've got this, and somewhere along the line there's got to be your personal life. How do you do it all? How much time does this take now?
Oh man, the amount of time that went into this, it was literally, I was doing the football season this year also, so that took up a lot of time during practice. But any other free minute I had for about 4.5 months, it was just intense. Living, breathing, and everything was this. Coordinating, you know, picking up the meals, going to the restaurants, meeting with general managers, and having so many people say no to get those yeses. It wasn't all say yes, 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 yes. But when the yeses came through, it was an unbelievable feeling. So how am I going to balance it all? How am I going to juggle it all?
You're going to have to build an organization.
I'm going to need help. I'm going to need help. I think that's one of the things is when we reach out, we have so many people that want to help out in the community. I love to kind of be able to pass on some of this in terms of making the phone calls to help other people that want to help and volunteer and give their time.
This folder says the event is December the 19th. It's not a single event, though, is it?
Well, because we did it in the eastern part of Pennsylvania and the western part, I couldn't be in two places. I could, but it would have been hard. So we served Sunday night and throughout the day 14 shelters, and 5 of them we actually had volunteers serving at. And then on Monday, the 20th, I was in Pittsburgh at the Light of Life mission. We served about over 150 people. And then on Wednesday, as yesterday, we were in Washington County near California, and we served over 200 people.
To what extent are your family members involved? You've got 2 younger sisters, your mother and your father. Do they roll up their sleeves and they're right there with you?
Every step along the way. They've been extremely supportive, and we were just joking about that earlier. We haven't even had time to go Christmas shopping yet because everything has been about getting this program up and off the ground. And from picking up the food, helping out picking up the food from Villanova on last Friday, to sorting it out Saturday. We had 7 counties, so we had 7 teams of volunteers come to Westchester to pick up the food from the warehouse and then deliver it to the different shelters. And then we had 7 different teams on Sunday actually go out and try to serve it or pick up the additional you know, meals that were ready. My dad, mom, 2 sisters, they were there the whole time, you know, checking off the boxes, who took what, keeping track of it, keeping inventory. And then they came out yesterday, my parents came out yesterday to be part of the Washington mission. So unbelievable support from my family. I couldn't do it without them. They're a blessing, and they've always been there for me.
Did you get much involvement on the part of the Villanova students?
Not this year, but hopefully in the future we'll expand to that.
Yeah, because they have programs,
yep.
right?
That's the thing. A lot of these organizations already have programs in place, but I believe this is one of those programs that's growing, and people are so passionate about that the Villanova students would be a terrific next outlet.
That's one way to take it nationally, through colleges
and
universities.
I was talking to the football department yesterday. We were thinking we could get different football teams across the country to get involved.
Yes.
And I'm going to go to a meeting in March.
You have a few more fingers there for rings. You can work that out.
I'm going to go to a meeting in March, hopefully the PSAC meeting, and just address and bring it up and see if it's something they're interested in doing. I know Cal's on board, and Coach Talley and I talked. Unfortunately, they lost in that semifinal game, but before that, prior to that, we were going to try to work together on this. So hopefully maybe we can do that in the July event. And that's a great way of getting even high schools, because they have community service hours they need.
Absolutely right.
Whoever might need it for community service, this is going to be a terrific way to do that.
Well, not just the younger generation, it occurs to me because of my involvement with the 50-plus community. There's a great opportunity to plug into some of the organizations that are promoting community service, volunteerism among 50-plus. I don't mean seniors, because that word is becoming irrelevant these days. But 50-plus people who have time, who have an interest, and would love to be involved in this. Now, it comes to a peak in this time of year, Christmas season. Yep. Then it falls off. How do you keep everybody engaged and energized so that when you need them, you hit a switch and the whole machine comes back into action?
I think it's contact, and that's the same thing in the benefit business. You know, if I have a client I'm working with, even if, let's say, I've sold them a life insurance product, a lot of people make the mistake where you stop reaching out, stop keeping contact. I keep tabs on everybody, and I always am, you know, can I help you? Is there anything else you need? Service is the key. So the same thing here with our volunteers. If we can be in connection, whether it's a mass email, just updating them, it becomes like a team. We're all in this together, and that's what we really are. We are a team for others, and that's why I created it. I wanted to get everyone behind it, and the communities themselves, I want them to come alive and give back, even if it's only 1 or 2 days a year, because what that's going to do is it's going to inspire others. And if we see that kind of a difference being made in our local communities, it will be made on a national level. It'll just take a lot of time, and we can do that, though. It's plausible and possible.
Derek, you've been doing this for 4 years, and now you've got bigger plans. This is a form of social entrepreneurialism. What have you learned along the way that helps you in your business and has changed your life in terms of your own personal goals and value system?
Well, I've learned a lot. I've learned that, you know, we have to sometimes admit we're wrong, and sometimes you have to be able to just admit that something may or may not work out. And then there's other times when, you know, you have to kind of work on being more persistent and just keep fighting through it. And that's probably been the biggest adjustment for me. Is I've always been, whatever I set my mind to, I'm going to go get. And something like this, you need to have gentle gloves, so to speak. You can't always be as aggressive. When it's pursuing a dream, whether it's playing football, that works. Or trying to get your academics completed, that works. But when you're working with other people, you know, you need to be respectful of their space and what they say and how they feel. And that's been a big adjustment for me, and it's one that I'm glad to make. It's helping me grow as a person. And I think as time passes, I think it'll just benefit me more and benefit the program more. And it'll help us be able to give back to others on a larger scale.
Has there been anything in the experience so far that has caused you to be disillusioned? Either because you were disappointed by other people or because the people you serve have not responded in the way that you felt they should? And I don't mean groveling.
Right. No,
appreciation.
I know. No, well, I guess that comes back to expectations. Depends on where you set your expectation level. When I go into something like this, my expectations are not, like you said, I don't look for someone to come up and say, thank you so much, you're the best, you're the man. That's not my goal. That's not my expectations. So if that would have been my goals, I might have been disappointed. My goal was to help others. So our goals were to shoot for 1,000 people. We did well over that. We did 1,500 to almost 2,000 this year.
Mm-hmm.
We exceeded our expectations. And I'm so proud of everyone that got involved and was supportive and helpful. We had Applebee's in Chester County, in Berks County, Delaware County, all got on board.
Mm-hmm.
In Montgomery County, we had Little Sicily and Maggiano's. They gave us pastas. And then in Bucks County, we had Cheeseburger in Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
All came together to kind of get involved and give us
That's
support.
marvelous. Yeah.
And then I can't forget out in Lancaster County, we had Good and Plenty. And they gave Amish noodles, Dutch noodles, and cookies. So with all those restaurants on board, that made it worthwhile. When they said yes, and they said, you know what, we believe in what you're doing, Derek, and go out there and get people behind you that believe in that, and we're all in this together, that made it worthwhile. So whatever could have happened after that, when that started happening, it was like a dream come true because people were starting to come together, and it was so much more about, it was not about me, it was about everyone else.
Yes.
And it was getting the idea past of, this is not me, this is a we thing. It's not a me thing, it's a we thing. We're in this together. And that was the greatest gift when everyone came together. It was like validation. We are doing this together. And the amount of sponsors, like I said, were just terrific. I mean, even Turkey Hill got involved. They gave us milk. I told you earlier about Pepsi and Tasty Cake. It's just nonstop. The sponsors were, and they were just willing to give. Unbelievable.
Put your business hat back on. Your master's degree in business. This is a venture. It's an early stage venture. What are the three things you need to take it to the next level? And if it's not national within 3 years, certainly regional, maybe even the eastern part of the country. But what do you need from a business standpoint? What do you need to really expand this, grow it over the next 3 to 5 years? Three things, other than money.
I was going to say that's probably the biggest.
Other than money. It's not money. That's not the answer.
Right. Well, on a large scale, any business or nonprofit has a building, so infrastructure at some point would be helpful.
What does that mean?
Well, I mean,
you mean a physical space?
If we're thinking in terms of how would you ideally grow it, I think infrastructure would be helpful, but it's not something I think we need since we have this new wave of communication.
It's virtual, yes.
Infrastructure could be web-based.
Yes.
And I think that's where our website's going to come in handy. And,
is that up?
It is up.
Fully developed?
Fully developed, fully functioning, fully running.
And the website is up on the screen, or has been up on the screen, I hope, during this interview. It will be.
Yeah.
But for the sake of people like me, it is what?
www.f4our.webs.com. So obviously, as we continue to grow that, we can also spread it through other forms of media, YouTube and Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I think those will all be avenues that will help us. And then just getting the word out, because people want to do this. If we can get people in place that kind of do what I've done in terms of calling the restaurants in different states, that's where the key's going to be. If I can have someone else, like let's say Joe Jones in Texas calls up, Applebee's or and says, hey, would you guys want to donate meals? And they say, sure. And then Joe Jones organizes the volunteers and they pick up the food. That's the kind of thing it's going to take. It's going to take other people making the calls, because I can't make all the phone calls for it to grow.